This winter feels heavier for many people, and you don't need astrology to feel it. Let's talk about the winter solstice chart for Canada. This is the moment when the sun enters 0 degrees of Capricorn. This isn't a full year forecast, but it will describe the winter quarter. And in mundane astrology, winter is when we see how power, government, and institutions actually function when things get heavy. Capricorn energy isn't emotional, it's practical. So it asks what holds, what doesn't, and who's responsible now. So 0 degrees always mark a threshold. Something is beginning, but because this is in Capricorn, it's not a soft beginning. It's not an emotional one. It's more like being handed a responsibility you cannot avoid. Here, this is it. Think of it, for example, like the moment a government stops campaigning and starts governing. Promises don't matter anymore here. Consequences do. The results of what we do matters. So let's take a look at the chart. Let me just show you. All right. Thank you looking at me. Okay, so when we look at this chart, the first thing that really stands out is the sun. Because in mundane astrology, in specifically this ingress, we're really looking at the sun in 0 degrees of Capricorn. The sun tells us how the leadership of the country and the states are showing up. So the sun in Capricorn is conjunct Mars. In mundane astrology, Mars shows how a country acts when pressure is applied. If the sun is who is in charge, Mars is how they act. Mars is exalted in Capricorn, so this is telling me that leadership isn't passive this winter. They are taking action and they are taking decisions that are being thought. It's not impulsive. That's what I mean. Decisions are being made and lines are being drawn, right? This can look, for example, like more policies or stricter enforcement of those policies, or, for example, leadership saying, this is the direction we're taking, whether it's popular or not. And because this is happening in the 11th house, it plays out through parliament, through political parties, through alliances, and is not happening behind closed doors, but more through collective structures or groups. Venus is also here in the 11th house. Venus is in Sagittarius. So this is telling me how certain decisions are being taken or how decisions are made. Decisions right now need to be explained through this quarter. That's what it's showing. And they are being framed as moral because Venus has to do with our values, our morals. Ethics is in Sagittarius as well. And they're being framed as necessary. For example, we might hear a language like, this is for the greater good. This is what needs to be done. This reflects our values as a country. We have heard that, haven't we? But that doesn't mean that everyone feels included. The sun is doing a square here, so it's having a tough conversation, let's say, with Saturn in Pisces and Neptune. So this means that there is a tension here. The Sun square with Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, it's showing a struggle to hold a structure. Neptune blurs reality. I have said this before. Neptune blurs, there's confusion. There's confusion around authority, and there's a lot of mixed messaging. For example, this is when people start saying, I just don't understand what I saw. I just don't understand what is happening because what I see, what is being said, there's no match. This doesn't match what we were told. So even though leadership is active, trust is fragile. Now let's take a look at the moon. And the moon, there's a lot of things happening here, as you can see. So, anyways, the moon is in Capricorn. The moon doesn't like to be in Capricorn, by the way, and it's on the 12th house as well. This isn't an expressive placement. Emotions are restrained, and the moon, remember, or I don't know if I said it here or maybe in another video. The moon represents the people. It represents the public. So the people of Canada, represented by the moon, they they're not they're feeling like they're not able to speak. Emotions, like I said, are being restrained. Concerns are hidden. People are tired. People withdraw rather than react loudly. They are hiding in the basement of the house. I always like to say that if we were to compare this whole chart with different rooms, the 12th house is the basement. This is where we put things that we try to hide and we don't want other people to see. So this isn't a mass protest energy. It's more like people quietly exhausted. It is showing up. People are showing up to work. They're paying the bills. They're holding it together, but they are feeling unseen. The moon, there is a tension here between the moon and Jupiter in Cancer exalted. It's retrograde Jupiter in the 6th house. So this means that people need care, people need stability, they need functioning systems, they need health care, they need services, they need daily support. But the opposition really shows a tension between what the public needs and institutional capacity. But the theme remains here. Services are stretched and expectations are very high. Jupiter retrograde suggests that we are revisiting old systems and we are revisiting old promises. And we're asking, okay, do we still do these promises and do these systems still work? But again, the thing remains, services are stretched and it's not working. The good news is that Jupiter is doing a trine with Saturn. That tells me that repair is possible, but it will not be quick. There's not a quick relief. Repair is possible if there's an if. If we are disciplined, if we are structured, and it will be slow. So this is making reference to, for example, budgeting, restructuring, rebuilding, not just a little check here to do a temporary thing, not doing a big announcement. This is not what will work. One thing that is really showing a deep change here is Pluto in Aquarius over the ascendant. This is one of the most important placements here in this ingress in Capricorn. This is telling me that Canada is quietly becoming something else. There's a deep transformation of a national identity through systems, policies, technology, ideology. Because Also, the 12th house plays an important role, and it is still the 12th house. There's a lot happening behind the scenes. There, remember, Pluto represents also power. So there's power plays. There are power plays behind the scenes. So there are power shifts quietly at play. Pluto is also trining here. Uranus is the planet of change, of sudden change. So Pluto is trying Uranus in Taurus at the cusp of the fourth house. So there it's pointing to changes around housing, around land and security, the very foundations of stability. This is the kind of change that doesn't announce itself, but over time you realize that something did change and the ground has moved. Um, Something here. Um, there's so much going on here. Let me see if you can see this. Okay, so Mercury in Sagittarius is doing a square, right, with the North Node and the South Node. So in mundane astrology, Mercury represents, or in astrology, Mercury represents communication. It represents media. It represents how information is shared, how decisions are explained, and how the public narrative is shaped. So in this chart, Mercury in Sagittarius tends to speak big, tends to speak with big ideas, broad visions, but it can have a lot of struggle with detail and precision and going into reality. And because Mercury is doing that square that I was showing you with the nodes, is telling me that communication feels misaligned. Like the story being told doesn't quite match the reality and doesn't quite match the direction things are actually moving in. So we can hear big narratives, big themes, but not always clarity. So if I had to summarize this winter quarter with the 0 degrees in Capricorn in one sentence, I would say that this is a season of endurance. Leadership acts, systems strain, people carry the weight quietly, and deeper changes are happening beneath the surface. But what begins this winter doesn't end this winter. It sets the stage for what the next ingress will be, or the next ingress will activate. That's going to be in the spring at 0 degrees in Aries. So that's it for today. If you'd like to keep exploring astrology, not only for collective cycles like this, but also for your business, for your career, leadership, and purpose, you're welcome to follow me here. Please do, please share with people you know. It's going to help me grow the channel. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.